Christie Aphrodite of SoulJourneysRadio.com. And I wanted to talk about an idea I had that although, maybe putting it together as a project might be my idea, it really isn't anything new. It's actually very old school. In fact, I think, kind of more how our ancestors lived. And it's funny doing these videos and Facebook has kind of opened up a whole new worlds to me, really, more than I ever expected. So I figured this would be the best place to launch my project that, I'm really going to need some help with. Of course, it's all volunteer. And it's just kind of creating awareness and better solutions for people, mainly our community. And I thought a good name of it would be Project Love Your Neighbor. So I bought up all the domains, projectloveyourneighbor.com, .net, .info, I don't know, gov? No, probably not that one. But anyways, so that's all ready and waiting for somebody with some WordPress skills or any kind of skills. Hey, it's all volunteer, so I don't know. I just heard that WordPress was easy, but, to kind of promote this thing. So here's the idea. We all talk about bartering. We all talk about keeping it local. But how many of us really are doing it? How many of us are going the extra mile to make sure that you're getting, fresh food grown by your neighbors, whether it's vegetables or meat, or eggs, or whatever it is that you choose to consume. And, so it's not really, obviously asking people to step completely outside of the system is a little bit radical. And I think that's great too, if you can do it, but obviously we are dependent for some things. Electricity is kind of nice, and gas in our cars, and some of us, have huge families and have to keep jobs that we don't like to keep them fed. But I think this will actually help everyone on a multitude of layers. So I'm not telling anyone, quit your job, get out of the system or any of these things. I think that this can help everyone who are working in the system and outside of the system as well. So Project Love Your Neighbor, the focus, of course, is going to your neighbors first. Whatever it is that you need, for instance, when you're writing your shopping list, before you go to, say, Walmart or whatever, grocer you have, check with your neighbors first. Is there somebody on my block that's growing the tomatoes? Cool, I'll get them there. Is there somebody, in a 20-mile radius that can get me fresh, unpasteurized milk? Or, meat without hormones and antibiotics? Or, for instance, people need work on their cars. People need their house painted. People need babysitting. People need all of these things. And the good news is people are already doing it. So I'm just asking people to kind of get with their neighbors, introduce themselves. Hi, my name is Christy. I make herbs and teas and tinctures and grow food, and I can babysit, and I can bake, and, I can cook. So the general premise is, when you make that list of things to do, check with your neighbors first. There's probably somebody on your block or very close in your city that does computer work. So instead of calling, some big corporation and talking to somebody in India, not that there's anything wrong with India. I love India. I love Indians. But that's not really keeping it local, is it? Babysitting, you have to go out to work. So instead of sending your children to state-run daycare, hire one of your neighbors that are already staying home, or maybe there's a family that would like to stay home. They don't want mom and dad to work, and the mom wants to stay home, but they just don't have the income. Well, guess what? If you chose her or him to watch your children. She might be able to stay home, and she might be a little bit less expensive than you would be paying for the state, and you might actually be getting better care. Um, I bet you there's a mechanic on your street, a garage mechanic that can actually fix whatever is going on with your car rather than going to, Big O. Sorry, I don't mean to mention you by name, but you have tried to rip me off a few times, so there you go. I'm not going back there, but anyways, I bet you there's a plumber or an electrician on your neighborhood, on your block right now that would more than love the extra work and, doing everything for trade. Yeah, it's a wonderful idea, but we are in a monetary system. So trade can actually mean cash because sometimes people need cash to keep the roof over their heads. So I'm just asking people to kind of think outside the box and go to your neighbors first. Say you have an office party or, some office meeting or something instead of, going to Walmart and picking up those disgusting, cupcakes or breads or whatever they have there. Hire your neighbor to bake them for you with love and fresh. And I bet you that baker chick or cook like me and many others would love to make the few extra dollars and probably need it in this economy. Not everybody can, well, I don't think anyone, actually, for that matter, nobody can do all of it. And I know with this struggle for survival, people tend to take on too much and think, oh my gosh, I have to have chickens, I have to have cows, I have to have goats, I have to have horses, which means I have to have land, and then I have to grow every single thing I eat. And, which really is just, that's more than a full-time job. It's almost impossible. So what about, one person does really good in the tomatoes and peppers and greens, and the next person does really good with the beans and peas and corn, and the next person grows the weeds and makes the medicine, and the next person does just the milk and dairy, and the next person, creates Christmas gifts or sews. So instead of, say, going to Walmart, again, and buying clothes or throwing something away that has a hole in it, hire your neighbor to sew it for you or fix it instead of buying, some made in China blanket. Maybe your neighbor can quilt it for you or knit it for you. See, the thing is, we're already doing these things, and most of us are doing these things for minimum wage or even less because we're out of work due to this economy. So what would it look like? Can you imagine if we all shopped with our neighbors first? What that could do for society? I mean, I bet instead of going to some, 24-hour fitness or some gym, there's a yoga instructor or Pilates instructor or somebody in your neighborhood instead of going to some, I don't know, mental hospital for counseling. I bet you there's already a psychologist or a, holistic therapist or somebody already in your neighborhood. Nutritional coaching in your neighborhood. Natural doctor or maybe even a medical doctor in your neighborhood. All of these things can be done. And for things like, let's say, Vitamix or Tupperware or something like that, we just kind of go buy online and don't know who we're buying for. I would like for this website to be a resource for people that, maybe are already distributors for companies like that or other types of, situations. They would be able to post what they do. Hey, you can, if you get your Vitamix for me, then I'll at least get the percentage, right? So then these people would be able to post on the website, say what they have, say what they do, and it would be all free. Okay, so once again, if you're thinking, oh, I want to help and there's a way to make money, you're not going to be making any money. Okay, this is volunteer. I just want this to be a resource that everyone can take part of everywhere in the world because, come on, it is a great idea. And, with people in their busy lives, I know sometimes, well, they just don't have time to go look for these things. But if it's all on that website, I was thinking maybe even a forum. because with a forum, then you can put countries, then states, then cities, subcategories, and really wouldn't need any maintenance for whoever volunteers to do the website. So I was thinking a WordPress and a forum, kind of like the show is at souljourneysradio.com, and then the forum, you can click to go in there to make it easy to access for everyone. Anyone can post at any time. You don't need to ask for permission. Hey, am I allowed to post this? Yes, yes, you are. I mean, obviously, within reason. But I just want it to be a resource instead of, throwing out that freezer when it breaks. Maybe there's somebody in your neighborhood or within your city that can fix that for you, and we can stop being, the consumers that we are, and just creating, throwing things away, that whole mentality, buy something new every 6 months. That's ridiculous, okay? I mean, and, if you have the money and you really don't care and you're cool with lots of waste, then that's on you. That's cool. That's fine. But most of us are struggling to make it day to day. They're struggling to come up with that $30 a month for the internet connection, struggling to, keep that heat on during the winter. So going and supporting, loving your neighbor with things like this, I think will really help boost the economy much better than creating more minimum wage jobs that get taxed to death, right? So, I know we've just, it's kind of an American thing. We grew up to kind of be pretty wasteful, but I really, really, really believe we can change that. And you don't have to do everything. All you have to do is meet your neighbors and find out what they do. So when you have some office meeting or office party next Saturday, hook up with some crazy person like me and say, we were going to buy Marie Callender's a big old thing of lasagna, but we'd rather support you. So can you please make us a pan of veggie lasagna or meat or whatever for the party? And we're probably going to need a cake or some banana bread, and pay that person. I mean, I don't know. It just seems so simple and wonderful and easy. I mean, instead of, buying these corporation, Lancome beauty products, I bet you there's somebody crazy like me in your neighborhood that already makes some, or makes your soap, or makes your, whatever you use, or there's somebody there that can actually teach you how to do it. So, I mean, look, we're all talking about community. We're all talking about keeping it local, but not everybody's really doing it. So I think this will be a really good opportunity to just, create a website. Here's the link, send it around the world, and people are like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You can even kick it off by starting a little block party in your neighborhood. Get to know your neighbors. How many people don't know their next door neighbors? I mean, most people don't, and I'm guilty of that too. I mean, thankfully I do know my neighbors now, but most of my life living in cities, we didn't know who was living next to us or living across the street, and I don't know, that's kind of weird. Bring the love back. So, yeah, I'm just suggesting that before you shop outside, I mean, if you still have to go to corporations for things, I totally understand. Okay, it's all of this is going to happen incrementally, but we can start by supporting our neighbors now. Okay? Who doesn't want that home cooked food for their office party or for their daughter's gymnastics lessons, or whatever you do? Instead of just running and buying these impulse things laden with poison and stuff, you can have it made with love. Your teas, instead of buying Lipton, buy them from some crazy person like me that, they're actually medicinal and helping people heal. But anyways, yeah, start your little block party. Put up a little flyer and just, introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Christie. These are all the things I do. What's your name? Oh, wow, you're a mechanic? That's awesome, because I needed somebody to, fix my tie rod ends or whatever. Oh, you paint? Excellent. I would love to paint my house, but I just can't get up on a ladder anymore because of health conditions. And, that company over there was just so expensive. And, so you can trade with them and, get all of these things done, everything that we need done, typical types of errands, there's already somebody in your neighborhood doing it. I'm just asking you to kind of step out on a limb, meet your neighbors, find out what it is they do, and spend your money or your time or trade or whatever with them, with me, with you, with us. I mean, after all, we are we're all brothers and sisters, we're all part of the same family, and we're all being screwed by the very same people, so we could screw them back, by just not supporting them anymore, right? And eventually, I was looking at how much money Walmart makes. It's something, I don't know, ridiculous, like 37 million an hour. Imagine if we could just take away 10% of that. 10% of that. Okay, fine. Do 90% of your shopping there, but you spent 10 in your community. Imagine the huge effect that is going to have. And once you start getting things local and, supporting you're building a community, you're building a bigger family, you're getting things fresh, poison-free. So once again, there's a solution rather than, sitting around and complaining about what they are doing. You're actually part of the solution. By doing what you already love to do, just do more of it, right? You're in childcare, you love to babysit. What's stopping you from putting up some flyers or introducing yourself door to door in your neighbors, or, even tutoring, or ride sharing or carpooling? There's so many things that we can do that we don't do because we're just kind of caught up in the hustle and bustle. And I don't know, that's why I wanted to put this project together. Project Love Your Neighbor. So if anybody wants to volunteer and help me, and there's a few other people that want to help put together ideas. I was going to try to write it all down, and I had a few pages of notes, and then I'm like, nah, let's just do the video thing. It's easier for me anyways, just to talk. I know. But hey, a radio show. Oh, and I'm a chick. And that's just what we do. We talk. So, anyways, let me know what you think about it, or if there's anyone that wants to help with it. We already bought the domains, and I'd love to get it going because I really see it as a solution for everything that's going on. It's pretty sad when people are, well, I think anybody should be proud to have a job and work, but when the only thing there is out there is minimum wage, come on, you and I know that does not support a family. It doesn't even support a roof over one person. And what does that do? That further keeps people in the system. Oh, well, hey, we'll give you some food stamps, but, you have to make less than the poverty amount so you can qualify. And, if you happen to get something more, then all of a sudden you have no assistance. And, anyways, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, I'm just suggesting, get to know your neighbors. Let's put this project together. Let's get it out there and just show people there is a solution, and it really isn't that hard. Okay, there's something we all can do. Get watermelons from that neighbor. Get your greens from that neighbor. Get, whatever you need. People are already doing it. There's a massage therapist living in your neighborhood. There is a candle maker or an incense maker or a printer. They're already living in your neighborhood. All we have to do is find them, support them, love them, and, plant seeds. Watch what grows. I truly believe if we do this, things can drastically change within 10 years. I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we used to, buy that slave labor from Walmart. And, that's the thing. I think I talked about it in another video. We say we're against slavery, yet we support it. We say we're against war, but we support it. We say we're against racism, but we support it, or the people who do. So, maybe it's not us, keeping people down or beating people up or doing all these things, but we support it with our dollars. How about supporting your neighbors and your community with your dollars? Does that sound as beautiful an idea to you as it does to me? Well, if it doesn't, that's cool. Just click delete and stuff. But I think it is, and I think it's really, really, really doable. So let's get it done. ProjectLoveYourNeighbor.com. There's nothing up there now because I don't know anything about websites. Um, Maybe one of these days I will, and maybe there's somebody in my neighborhood who will tutor me on websites. Well, honestly, I don't really want to learn. I'm kind of the bitch in the kitchen and the garden and the witch doctor, or whatever my neighbors call me. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll let the technical people stick with the technical stuff. I'll stick with creating magic and, the garden and the food and all of that. But yeah, there's, you know, whatever it is you like or whatever it is you need, there's somebody in your neighborhood that can do it for you and do it a billion times better. So give them a chance. Give me a chance. Give yourself a chance. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you like this idea as much as I do, because I really think it could be amazing and help people just have a better life and get out under the trap of, spending money in these corporations and all these things we do unconsciously because we're just, focused on getting what we need for our family. But our family is much bigger than those that live under our roof. So let's love one another. Project Love Your Neighbor. Thanks so much for listening.